You know, there's a reason why there's so much cultural resistance to this whole attachment message that's coming through so much in the media as a result of all of the research that's being done. Everyone's talking about attachment all of a sudden, and at the same time I think that's making a lot of people very, very nervous. And I don't know if you've noticed, but from some people, at times you'll hear hostility towards the message. You know, don't tell me what to do. And there's some pretty mean stuff that is said towards, you know, lactation consultants or breastfeeding counselors or people that want you to co-sleep with your baby or people that don't want you to smack your children. There's some anger in the conversation. And I see a lot of commentary about this where the messenger is attacked. So clearly, this information is making a lot of people feel very, very uncomfortable. And I'm not really surprised about that, because the more that we as health professionals say to mums and dads, these are all the things that you could do that will go really, really right for your child. By implication, at the same time we're saying, well, if you don't do that, these are all of the things that can go wrong. There's a burden that comes with the new science of child development. You know, now you know all of the things that you could do that could, oh my God, hurt or perhaps even cause damage to your child. So it's a very, very difficult conversation to have with the parents that we work with or the parents that we write for. How do we bring the attachment information, the neuroscience information in a way that really holds the parent and supports them to take this on board without triggering so much of the reactivity, the guilt and the pain, and in particularly often mothers suffer greatly from gnawing guilt, mother guilt. I mean, that is horrible stuff, and I see it and I hear about it so much in my work. I think this is a time to think more about not just informing, but supporting. It's not enough to actually have the right information. When a parent does not get the support that they need, no amount of information will help. We are designed to do our parenting cooperatively, communally. There's probably no two parents that can match all of the needs of even just one baby without having the emotional support as well as the practical support. In fact, for most of human history, I mean pre-history, 95% of our history, as humans moved around the world, we had on average for every child in a community 4 adults. 4 adults for every child. Doesn't mean that each adult is equally involved. What that means is at the moment that a parent is tired, there are some other pairs of hands that can come and help. The parent can take a rest. So I think that rather than frighten parents with the information, first and foremost our role as health professionals is to make sure that the parents feel the support that they need, so that the guilt and the shame and the inadequacy isn't going to be triggered as often. And that's what will help us in the role of, you know, facilitating the social evolution that we need right now to embrace the new styles of parenting that are coming through without so much of the resistance. So it's not just about informing, it's also about holding. By holding, I don't just mean physical holding. I mean the holding that comes through empathy, attention, understanding the emotional needs, not just the practical needs, but the emotional needs that parents have. Asking parents about, well, where is your community? If you're going to have a child, who is behind you? Who is behind you? Because even if you don't know right now that you will need a lot of support behind you, you will need a team, please let me remind you that you will. Who are your people? not just your partner. Who else is there for you? That kind of thing. Lastly, the other thing that parents need in terms of emotional support, when we have a child, often this can trigger some of our own unhealed wounds, unresolved pain from any painful experiences that we have had as children. This is a time to find the kind of a relationship that we feel safe enough in to talk about this kind of stuff. It doesn't mean that we need therapy necessarily, but just to be heard, a shoulder to cry on, somebody to maybe complain to, just to tell our truth to. Fundamentally what we need, and what fills us with energy again to face the huge task of parenting, is to not feel alone. What do I mean by alone? Look, you can have a lot of people around you. You can be in a crowd and still feel alone. It's not about just having people physically near. In order to not feel alone, we need to know that from time to time, when it's really needed, that we can open up from here, from the heart, and say how we feel, and have somebody listen to us. A lot of the time, that's all that's required. That's what I mean by holding. So, if we want to pass on this information about early childhood, the new stuff that's coming through, it's not just about information, it's about support and holding as well. And that will help the resistance to the message to settle down quite a lot.